Happy to be a part of it all. Thanks so much for joining us as always, Mr. Necker.
Good evening. Good evening to everyone. How was your day, my friend?
My day was good. I've been trying to make sure I got in that PBLA game, and I tell you what, the Elmira team came out in less than a minute, 3 goals. Boom. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the whole thing or not, but then
I
Salem,
hit the highlights.
yeah, Salem is definitely making it seems like there's a lot of parity. They're really close. I don't know how they're gonna have to get that first win eventually, I would imagine pretty soon here, but it's
Hell, you were part of those things back in the day. Remember when we used to fly as Hawks? It was pretty tough getting that first W, man. It isn't easy.
yes, and here is Nick Kiefer. What's happening, Keith?
Hello, Nick Kiefer.
Greg, Paul, how are you?
Awesome. How you doing, my friend?
Good.
Oh, I got to turn that one down.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't have that one playing in the background.
No, no.
So, Keith, did you get a chance to watch the PBLA game this week?
I have not. I've been working the last few weekends, so I really haven't had a chance. So
Ah, yeah, you guys missed a really good game, I tell you. It looked like they were going to run away with it off the start, and then Salem came back, made a game out of it, but Elmira kept pulling away, and then it just
yeah,
seems, it's a game of, as you guys all know, it's a game of runs.
They had some runs. There was definitely some fisticuffs in it. I seen those highlights. They were quick to throw that one out there.
Oh yeah, yeah, that made the rounds, and that was quite the game. It was a very physical game. There was that fight, which was a pretty good, as far as lacrosse fights go, and there was a lot of other little skirmishes here and there. It was a very heated game. I wish we got to see some of the other games, but is what it is. We'll figure
It
it
is
out.
what it is. You know what? As far as we know, it's out there. We're getting some shots from people here and there, and that's what the fans are there. I seen a couple shots. I was supposed to be up in Syracuse, but for unforeseen circumstances, I wasn't able to get up there. I was going to help run the shot clock, but once it got moved on Adaga, they already had some shot clock people, and
Yeah,
again some
Onondaga's
circumstances.
yeah, Onondaga's quite the facility. But I mean, if we go through like I was talking about, we had that Renegades Mayhem game, and looking at the final score, I never would have guessed that the way it started. I mean, and then a few minutes into the third quarter, it's 11-9, and El- you never would have told me that Salem was going to be able to hold Elmira to 4 goals for over a quarter and a half. It just didn't seem,
Right?
especially when they scored the first 3 goals in less than a minute. That was that's pretty impressive. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Keith, do you have headphones? Because it's
no.
echoing.
Give me 1 second. Did it just start?
It was. Hang on. Well, just unmute yourself when you're going to talk because it was echoing every time you were clicking it.
Try it now. It could have been my phone feedback off my phone, or
Oh,
is it still?
gotcha. All right.
We're,
Is it still
we're,
echoing?
Yeah, we're getting all kinds of extra noise in there. But yeah, we'll figure it out. So
we'll
yeah,
get it figured out.
and then the Chowderheads, the All Americans. That was a tough weekend for the Chowderheads. They played the Terror. It was one of those 2 games in a row, and I tell you, and same with the Mayhem, and that's kind of why I attribute that to their slow start. This is a tough sport to play back-to-back games in.
Back to back is not an easy game at all. You're talking probably less than 24 hours, and
About
the
24
games that
hours
I've
on the
watched,
nose, but yeah, it was
yeah,
it's a fast-paced game, wicked physical. So I mean, Keith, you've played in some of these tournaments. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, they can be exhausting, especially if you're doing like 5 games in one day, like we did in Detroit. It was tough.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
it's
That last
insane.
game, we was the tanks were empty on that last game out there. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely what happens. And the Chowderheads, though, so I mean, they lost to the All Americans 14-9. Uh, Tough game. They went up against Trenton the day before, and that Trenton team, like I said, they're I think one of the best teams in the league. And you really saw it. I mean, they beat them 14-13 again. Baker wasn't able to score, again to get the game winner and be the hero. But
Right?
the Mayhem team played that Bootleggers team, and that's another team. Just the talent they've got on that team. When you look at them, you're like, okay, they should be up there, and you're seeing it. And the
Starting to
Mayhem,
click.
yeah, the Mayhem are just now, they're 0-4. they're gonna get one. They've been close. It's not they got blown out in the one game, but other than that, it's been a pretty competitive, definitely league so far. But
The more they play, the better they're going to gel. The better the game is going to look when it's either on TV or if you're in person watching. No question.
yeah,
These guys are now what 9 weeks into practicing together, right around there. 8 weeks, 9 weeks, someplace in there. So they're starting to. Some of these teams they already knew each other. Throughout the whether they were on other teams with each other or if they were friends with each other and grew up with each other. They're going to definitely start gelling and doing a lot better in the next couple of weeks. No question.
yeah, absolutely. Now we'll get on to something that we know a little bit more about, and that's this league.
In this league. And then there's this league.
And then there's this league, which is always good. Kiefer, you've been out playing around a little bit. How you guys feeling getting ready to head into the season here in a few months?
I took a run yesterday. I definitely need to start getting my legs back under me again. Took a little time off. Some sick kids and work, everything kind of just hit me at once. So I definitely, especially running with the Herkimer College kids that were there yesterday, they gave us a run for our money. I'll tell you that. My legs will
Getting
get
ready to run. Yeah.
So so you guys had a pretty good turnout yesterday?
About 40 plus. Right around 40 plus.
Nice, with a pretty good mix of some young kids in there, it says.
It had as far as a bunch of them. It's from Herkimer to the Nexus Center. You're only talking about 20 minutes down the road, so they came down and it's a friendly. There's no team on team or score being kept or anything like that. And
you're just throwing sticks, having a good time.
Throwing sticks, and we're having a good time. And it was a good run. Some guys got some looks. We were able to take a look at it and see what the Herkimer is going to do, and excited to see them kids back together. A former Yeti, Kyler Johnson is sorry about that, Kyler. Kyler Johnson is on the Herkimer team, and I'll tell you one thing: he's dropped about. I want to say he's easily had to drop about 20 pounds, where he's looking good. Watching him. Watching him get up and down the field, I was like, holy shit, that's Kyler.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
He looks really good.
Yeah.
The program Bob's got those guys doing, and just they had a lot of good kids out there. I mean, it was nice to see the program growing from where it started just from last year.
Yeah. The dedication, what coaches got going on up there, and watching the kids buy into his process is, he's bringing Herktown back. That's, you're going to see an OCC, and I'm not jumping the ship on any of those other JUCO teams because they all got great programs themselves. But I'd love to be able to go watch and see the Herkimer of yesteryear bring back that pride and tradition.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and they're believing. That's the cool thing about it. Watching them, Paulus running, JoJo.
JoJo looked good. Yeah,
they looked really good. Solid core. Now happy to see them running.
It looks like we've got 4 teams already paid up and in the league off and running according to the website. So we've got the Yeti and a brand new team that you guys know a little bit about. Now, did you guys have any of the spirits there last night?
They the head dog was there. The big chief, Nate was there running with us. He's a Yeti still, even though he's starting up the spirit. As far as that's what it's all about. It's a Tri-City program, and all are welcome to come play. So he was down there testing out some new equipment. You got to see this little thing he's got there, Beecher. It's a handheld camera thing, but it's motorized and it follows. It's pretty darn cool. You got to take a look at that. But anyhow, it'd be. I'm trying to think who else was there. We had one guy, Chris. Chris, you work with Chris, or your buddy with Chris.
Yep, Chris Skinner.
Chris Skinner never played lacrosse before, Beecher. 3 weeks ago, he had a bucket list of he wanted to play goalie. So we got him all dressed up, and he was playing goalie. And then because we had three goalies there last night, he's like, well, and I'm like, why don't you dress up? So he got an opportunity to never played lacrosse before.
And he
As
played.
far as a field player, he got out there and he started playing. Man, it was
Yeah.
it was good for him. I'm sure some guys were like, what the? But you want to know what? There's no question to say that it ignited a fire. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if you see that guy banging on some wall, just getting the
Yeah.
stick, tuning it up because you want to. He caught a little bit of that medicine last night, and it was pretty cool. It was
How,
pretty cool.
how many goalies did you have last night?
Three.
We had 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Sully was there, Mario was there, and Jojo.
Jojo, yeah.
That's awesome. It's
Yeah.
yeah. Once you catch the bug, though, good luck. It's definitely
Yeah,
infectious.
it is.
It definitely is. It definitely is. It's definitely something that more people are. I think some of the older guys they were expecting field. It's not field. There is some differences, and as far as they weren't expecting the move and pick because they play field, and all of a sudden there's a move and pick, and it's we got to that's the biggest thing is when I want to say the guy was 56 and probably a 56 and probably one of the best players in the area. Matty Chappell, incredible. Played at Cortland back in the day. I watched him play against the Gates up in at the Dome when Cortland used to play Syracuse and everything. And incredible player, but he's a field lacrosse guy, and he got wasn't expecting a pick to be coming, and all of a sudden he's getting blindsided. He's like, "What the Sam Carnation just happened here?"
Yeah.
So as far as we're bumping hips. We're definitely playing it. We got the shot clocks going. We got the penalty boxes brewing. We had a penalty shot last night. That was pretty cool. We
Oh,
installed
really?
that. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
So you guys
And
were
after
mimicking the PBLA there a little bit, get the penalty shot on,
playing a
or
little bit off of it. Why not? As far as you got to learn it. If guys are going to be doing it, got to learn it. So it was pretty cool. It was a good night. We had 3 teams. We were running 3 teams.
Yeah. Yeah, we had
Excuse me. Went an hour and a half. It was a good run.
oh, nice.
Good run.
40 plus guys there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good.
And the sad thing, it'll break down in the next couple of weeks. We'll probably have like that numbers for the next week and a half, and then everybody's starting to get ready to get in season.
Yeah,
It's more of a
college is
conditioning. Yeah, it's all conditioning as far as what we're doing inside the Nexus.
Look,
It's
it,
there's no set offense, that's for sure. There's a lot of sprinting back and
I don't
forth.
know if anybody has seen this yet, but according to the trade wire, we've the Patty Crosby has been signed by the Charlotte Bootleggers as a
The
practice player.
bootleggers. He's on the. I seen that off the wire. Yes,
Yeah.
he.
And I mean, so if you're reading through that, then Jim Thorpe signed Daniel Amsbury. They moved Jacob Kranz from the active roster to the injury list. Uh, yeah, I mean, there's a ton of action going on in this league. You can see these teams are still figuring things out. And they signed. So New England signed Rachel to the active roster. So I wonder if she dressed up this weekend.
She gonna get a dress?
She might have
Or,
suited.
or
She might have suited
She,
up last weekend.
I think she was the backup this weekend or this past
She was.
weekend. I think I saw photos. She was dressing in the locker room as a backup.
Congratulations to Rachel being out there. That's huge. Yeah, I this week has been a little rough for me as far as keeping up to date on everything. We have been
Yeah.
slamming, so it's been fun. But now,
it has been crazy.
now Kiefer, the last time I talked to you was before you guys. Did you guys just go out of tournament? Are you no? Yeah.
Back in November we went to Nashville.
How did that end up panning out? You guys did pretty well out there.
We we ended up taking first place in the tournament. We were a little worried at one point. We had some hiccups go on, some shenanigans, but we ended up winning our first 2 games, and we played the Frog Pond Maulers. Got down like 6-0 real quick and made a comeback, but still wasn't enough to win. And then in playoffs, we made it to the championship to face Frog Pond again. Ended up going down 5 goals like in the first period, but we ended up digging out of that one and coming out with the win there.
Yeah, that's
So big W. Big
that
bang, bang, bang.
you want to talk about a lot of
Bang, bang,
lacrosse
bang.
though. I mean, that's a lot of games crammed into a little bit of time. That's
Yeah,
insane.
I want to say 5 games in 2 days.
Yeah.
It
So,
was chilly down there too, wasn't it?
oh, it was cold. Like I went last year and played, and you couldn't get out of the sun. That was the problem there. And this year, the wind was. I mean, guys are wearing their hoodies under their jerseys and stuff like that, playing sweatpants, playing. So
Completely
That's definitely
completely different than it was.
it was like a wind tunnel. It was nice because it was covered, but we're thinking, oh, the sun and everything like that. But no, it was a great facility. It was an outdoor facility. They had 2 floors going, so you had 2 games going on at all times and everything. So you're able to, if you weren't playing, you had 2 games you were able to watch. There was 8 teams there, so they had 3 Six Nations teams came down, which was cool to have. I mean, the competition level was great. You didn't really have a blowout game at all during the whole tournament, so they were all very close games.
Nice. That's what you're looking for more than
Yeah.
anything.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I mean, every game came down to 1-2 goals. So, and there was a lot of guys we knew down there. The Brooklyn Dodgers were down there, so we had a handful of guys that are part of the Bank City program that were on that team. Austin Curtis, who's a Yeti at one point, he was down there playing for the Chicago team. So you had a handful of guys that we all knew that were still coming down, which was fun. And then just Nashville itself was an awesome experience. It's not cheap though.
No.
very cheap.
Yeah, no.
Now you got Dover coming up here end of this month, next month,
Yeah,
end of
next month we're going to Wilmington, Delaware. We're gonna play in the Winter Classic. That's hosted by Forge Events. So we'll be doing that, and then Boston at the end of April. Same thing, kind of. They're run by Forge Events.
Nice.
So yeah, that'll
That's
be.
gonna be fun.
We're hoping to kind of get some redemption there. We're gonna be seeing the Harry Pups. We didn't get to finish our New Jersey tournament, so we're gonna kind of hopefully see how that goes down there with them.
Good team.
Every team is pretty equal that I've seen so far that's going down. You got the Harry Pups are going on. They've always had a solid roster. They just won the Independence Cup in Philly this past weekend. Westminster Wild are going down.
Yeah.
They won last year. We all know who they are. They won the NABLL, and they've won multiple tournaments, so they're always going to have a good team. There's a house team that's going to be put together by Forge, so that's never know what could come out of that.
Yeah. Sounds impressive. I mean, there's a lot of definitely a lot of good tournaments. I didn't realize there was that many teams that like played outside of the NABLL, you know.
Well, I think it's just
so many.
There's so many, and it's the fact of having the opportunity to play. Like guys just want to be able to get out there and just play. At the end of the day, you win, lose, or anything like that. It's just guys want to be able to be on the floor and just play.
It's a great camaraderie. It's to watch them all gather afterwards, whether it's at the local eatery or pub or whatever. It's good times. It's definitely good times. We had the Bears up for the Battle on the Barge last year, and the gathering afterwards, just hanging with these guys and shooting the shit with them. It was, hoping to build off of that. That's what all you can really do is hope to build off of it.
Yeah.
Get out there and play more. That's cool too.
And just seeing the competition level. So like we played last year, so be able to go this year and see how teams have improved from last year and like how things have changed from last year. I mean, the facility itself is such a great facility. It's the Chase 76ers field house. So it's just this monstrous field house that they put up boards kind of similar to how Tri-Cities boards are. So, and it's just the facilities itself is top notch.
That's huge. Yeah, it's always awesome. And I mean, that's one thing you guys are pretty spoiled. You've got a lot of you got a lot of nice facilities up there. So everybody, so that's pretty cool when you get to go somewhere and get to experience something different that everybody gets that
And the
feel of it
drive,
over there.
you want to have to battle on these things, Beecher, is it's the commute. It's the get there and get back. We went to Detroit last year. That was
Oh, I get
13
it.
hours. It was a long ass ride home. That's all I
Yeah,
know.
it
We couldn't
was.
go to Canada, so we had to go all the way down and around. And it was it's awesome. And God bless these guys that are doing it on their own. You know,
Right.
it, at least with myself, I can never fall asleep. So I'm not playing. So it doesn't.
That's
That's
why I
my
love to
gift.
have Paul on our trips because I can't stand long distance drivings, and Paul doesn't mind it. So
Yeah.
That's part of the fun. That's where it's fun for me. But it's the commutes, it's the drives. You know, Gonzola, he was going from Binghamton up to Oshkosh, Bagosh, Canada to play
Gosh,
in
gosh.
Can
St.
Am's up
Cat's,
the
yeah, he was playing with
yeah
St. Cat's, as I want to say it was. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, and it's great stuff. And these kids are getting into become men now, and they're graduating college, and now they're hopefully looking to be on some Utica Yeti and Bang City. We got
yep.
some college kids that are wanting former college kids that are wanting to play, and
All right.
they're
Well,
gonna be able to
speaking
perform.
speaking of that and all your pros, you guys got a pretty big game coming this weekend. So you've got this Saturday. It's going to be live on Lacrosse TV, but also in Binghamton, they have they're
The
playing the
Bombers,
All
yeah.
Americans. So we should be able to see what how they really stack up against this All Americans team. I'm pretty excited for that. That should be a great game. You got Conzo down there,
Have there
Andrew
been
Davey.
any new players on the Bombers? Have they released anybody? Is there anything on
Well,
the
so
scouting report from them?
going through their roster, I mean, they've got Conzo still down there, Cody Kilcoyne from Collar Cities there, um, Ryan Hoteling. I mean, everybody probably knows who he is. Leland Powell. They've got a pretty loaded roster, and you still got Andrew Davey was on there. Yeah, there he is. Kobe Johnson. Kobe played, you know,
Kobe was on fire.
he
He
played
was on fire
phenomenal.
that game.
Do you think he's going to
Yeah.
get to? What do you think they're going to do? Are you going to go with him now? I mean, because the way he came into that game, it's hard to pull him out of starting after that.
What do you think,
it's
Keith?
it's tough. Who's their starting goalie, or who was the starting goalie
Jake
before him?
Jake
Lazor.
Lazor.
Right?
Yeah.
Lazor.
They're
Sorry.
both they're different play styles in my opinion. I mean, Kobe is such a big player, but he played with Bang City on the last night, and he he used a spoon compared to what we were used to seeing him with the Yeti using the wall, and he looked phenomenal in last night. And I thought the way he improved was 10 times from the Yeti season. So, I mean, he's still so young, and the fact that he can do what he does, he's a big boy. You can't, and he takes up a lot of that net. So they're both very different play styles in my opinion, and I think you go with the hot hand at the point. So if Kobe, you ride with Kobe until you can't have a good game every game. I was a hockey goalie. I know
Yeah.
how it goes. You can't always have a good game.
So
So you
yeah.
go with the hot hand at that point, and until that hot hand kind of sizzles out, you go to the next one. You've got two great goalies, so it's a
Yeah.
win-win situation at the end.
What you said right there, though, too, Keith, with the spoon versus the shovel or whatever, the wall. Those guys, Kobe, we never really got to see it because he would get a pass off, but it wasn't a rocket type of
No,
pass. Where now he's using that. He's got a hell of a stick in his hand too. He can put that thing down the field.
well, and that wood that wall he was using was a wood. So I mean,
Oh yeah, that thing's
you gotta
95 pounds.
yeah. Whereas the spoon, when he was playing the last night, he was throwing dimes. He really was,
Yeah.
and it surprised me because I didn't know he was able to do that. But all I saw was the fact that he was using a wall at that point. So
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, and you could
It made a
see
big
that
difference.
in that last game though. He moves the ball so well. And that was one of the big things I said about Jake Lazur when we watched him out there playing is how good he could pass. And then to see Kobe in the game moving, he was whipping it around there. But like you said, he was on fire, and you kind of, as you know, Kiefer, you go with the goalie who's on fire and kind of ride him until
Yeah.
eventually, yeah. I mean, until he loses it, you kind of, if he earned the spot out there, which I feel he did watching it, but
Yeah.
I'm not the coach, so
Yeah.
Exactly. We're pretty good with this armchair stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. You can always Monday morning quarterback stuff, but until you actually do it,
Right.
yeah,
It's definitely a situation. It's a good situation to be in for Neil as far as that goes, in
Yep.
regards to being able to have two goalies to say, okay, I got two great goalies.
That's exactly. I think that's what they hold. They hold that over a lot of teams in that league.
yes,
So,
it's
um,
I mean, that's a huge advantage, y'all know. I mean, goalie can really single-handedly turn a game around. It's unlike any
yeah,
other position. And I tell you what, it's a shame that they're not streaming all their games because they've got
I
Friday,
know.
Saturday, Sunday games this week. And like when you watch the NLL, even most of the time they don't have a Sunday game, as
Yep.
most of their
Yeah,
weeks
no, they're
goes.
Friday. You'll have one or two on Friday, and the rest.
Most of them are Saturdays, yeah. And this would
Yep.
have been sweet to be able to watch the live game. And I tell you that bootleggers team, I got to watch one of their games, I think, and then they picked up a couple pieces since then, and it's a huge difference. It's
Right.
got to be. They got to be. So I don't know. The parity in this league, I don't think anybody's going to run away with it though. The way it's shaped out so far. It, and
So
now,
I'm being told from my undisclosed source that Jeff Gaddis got released from Binghamton.
Really?
Yeah, and a couple guys. Drake Smith was brought in, and a couple other guys. And I'm also being told Cam Simpson got traded.
aha,
So those are some big names throughout that league. I mean, I played with Jeff in tournaments. I played with him in the Rochester and the Can-Am and everything. And Jeff's a phenomenal player. So if he got released, that I can't see him sitting on that free agency very long. I think
No.
he's
Somebody's
a
going to
big
pick him up.
asset. He's a big asset. He's a big lefty. He can play offense. He can play defense. He can play wherever you need him to go. So I can't see Jeff sitting on free agency very, very long.
no.
And if he does, then I think the league is dumb, in my opinion. I'm not trying to blow Jeff's head up at all, but I think
He's a hell of a player. Again, it's finding the right fit too.
You're right.
Whether everybody is a philosophy and everything like that. You got to work around. And one of the coaches, I'm sure, probably says, not that Ronnie's looking, but I'm sure Ron knows exactly who Jeff Geddes is. Would that put a sparkle in his eye, type of thing? You never know. You never know. That's cool. You want to know what? That's what this league needs. We need more info so that we can talk like this about
I know.
little things that
Yeah.
I,
Supposedly they were
Patty
coming
being
out with stats last week.
So
They told me, but we'll
so
see.
Gaddis is going to Elmira now.
Okay.
he is. So there you go.
That's a great fit for that team. I tell you,
Wow.
watching that game, Maloney played good, McKinney played good. Elmira seems to they struggled in every game where they take long gaps off. I mean, yes, it's a game of runs, but their runs seem to be a little excessive. I mean, it's not like I was watching the game with a stat sheet out. I wasn't paying writing it down, but they came out boom, and then Salem kind of chipped away, and then what Elmira was good at was they consistently kept ahead of them. They never really gave them a chance to get back, but that could definitely bite them here pretty soon with some
And
of
then
these teams.
Binghamton's bringing in Ashton Jacobs and Pierce Abrahams, which are both big names. So I think that'll be some good additions to them too. So they're both going to Binghamton. I think I think it's going to be a change of style for that team, and I think it's going to be a good change for them.
Yeah.
Well, when I went down, I was watching Moss. He's an older, a veteran off the NLL concept, and just watching him. Obviously, maybe first time being there, whatever. He just wasn't in the groove. It didn't seem like he wasn't jamming out there, having a great run, and it was like, wow. I don't know. It's how does that make the current players that obviously if you didn't get cut, you're pretty happy. But all of a sudden someone's coming in that's never been on the team. I've been busting my ass for 8 months now,
Well,
and all of a sudden we got Joe Ship
at the end of
is
the day,
now running second deal. As long as you're paying me, I guess I don't care.
the way I look at it, I you're it's a business. They're
It's a business.
Your
Yeah.
general managers are doing what's best for that team, for that business.
Yeah.
So as long as you're still in part of that program, you
Yeah.
You're doing
it's
something right.
it's a business.
Yeah,
You
no,
got brought in.
you're doing
You
something right, like you said though. But that's kind of a shot to the rest of the team too, telling them that either guys aren't. It's either a work thing, which it might not necessarily be. Sometimes it's a fit thing, like you said. Sometimes it's a personality thing. It could be a million things that we don't know. But
correct,
chemistry is such a big part of this, though, and understanding like where that guy's going to be before he gets there, that anticipation
correct.
effect, and that's where
But
you see a lot of these teams have that.
these coaches, these people that are not the players, but the coaches and the general managers, they've been around leagues a long time. They know what they're doing. So to break to send someone there and to bring other guys in and send a goalie there, they know what they're doing. They're not. It's not just oh, that's my friend. It's not a beer league. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's
They know
not
what they're doing.
it's no back. It's probably not backyard horse stealing, is what you're getting at.
Correct. And if someone's gonna really get upset that they're bringing somebody new in that hasn't been part of that whole process, there's a reason for it. You got to buy into the program that you know.
Yep.
And these guys,
Absolutely.
if you can't handle that, then go home.
Yeah. No, I'm sure everybody knows that this at the end of the day it's about winning because the only way to stay employed, it's just like anywhere at work. If you work anywhere in the private sector, the only way you're going to stay employed is if you're making your boss money. If you don't make your boss
Right?
Right.
money, you know, don't waste your time.
Yep.
That's it in a nutshell. That is it in a nutshell.
But so we've got the Delaware
And then
tournament coming. You were telling me, Paul, that we're with the battle on the barge. You're really looking for some youth teams to get involved.
we're gonna start amping that up. We're gonna get a hold of the U.S. Box Law and do more of invites. Talk to some teams out in the Western New York area. It's right after sectionals are done and everything. So unless you're going deep into sectionals, your club teams are already starting to play. So I'm anticipating that some youth. I say youth, 20, 24, 20 or 23, 24s, graduating class, juniors, sophomores, freshmen, that age right there. We're looking to probably get a good round robin, 4, 5, 6 teams of that going. And in regards to the NABLL, I've talked to a couple. The problem that we're having right now is it's early in the season. A lot of these teams haven't picked up their teams yet. Where they're almost the end of June before they have their rosters made.
Well,
So
and
Yeah.
you've got a lot of teams. I mean, like Justin McKinney's he's playing right now for Elmira. He's got a full-time job. For him to try to figure that out on top of it makes it a little it's a
I'm
tough
ex-
thing.
I'm excited to see where this league's gonna go because there's a lot of people in this league in the NABLL that are part of the PBLA. So and they're all in different roles. Where you're seeing Bill Hardy as a rep out there. You're seeing, like you said, Justin McKinney, who's a general manager. He runs the team. So it's gonna be interesting to see how the NABL gets it's shaken up a little bit. I think it's gonna be shaken up, but in a good way.
I think you're gonna need to see, like you guys said last night, you had a bunch of Herkimer guys. I think teams are gonna start have to go a little bit more heavily onto that college age because if the PBLA, especially if the PBLA stays in business, as long as they stay functional and they continue to grow, which I would imagine they would, because as people watch this, you guys know what it's like to watch a live box lacrosse game. I mean, there's nothing like it. You get out there and you see it, and you're like, oh man, and it grabs you. So I mean, as long as that all works out like it's supposed to, I think your league is going to turn more into the guys who either don't have enough time to play in the PBLA or don't quite have the skill set, but would like to play in the PBLA. And it's going to be an interesting mix of that, where you're getting some of these guys, because we've got a ton of field players all over the place. I mean, look at you guys are not that far away from some of the best teams in the country, and it's not that common. Like it just started there a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's a growing sport. With the championship game being moved into the end of August, that is definitely going to open up the opportunity for the college kids to get involved and get some quality run. You know, some quality looks. You know, we got between video production and stats and everything like that. You know,
That's the one
it's
thing. The Yetis are always live streaming now, so we've
live
definitely
streaming.
we've got that,
I
and
mean,
we've got access to great equipment. So that is one huge pitch. I mean, you got to start getting some of those young college kids that are looking for
you,
some scouting.
a scouting there. Well, take a look at the Riverhawks last year. How many high school kids did they have? You want to know? As long as you're 18 years old,
I tell you
you're
what,
eligible to play.
that
I
Riverhawks
mean,
team, not so much for you guys, but as somebody who's there watching it, what an impressive team that was. They started out, you know, and you guys handed it to them
we were
pretty
the
easily.
smackers. We were the smackers and ended up getting smacked by them by the end of the year.
Bad. I mean, yeah,
That's yeah, that's a
that was a
great turnaround.
good game. Those guys, what a great job they're doing up there with that team.
Yes,
And yeah, awesome to see how well that team came together. And now with the Spirits, I mean, your division's going to be tough to get out of.
it's going to be a very tough division. You know, you're talking the Eels. They won the division last year. You're talking about in 2021. You're talking about us in 2022 getting all amped up. I know for a fact that the Riverhawks are definitely getting amped up. You know, especially with the change in the venue. So you know, some of those college kids are going to be sticking around. And then you got Nate up in Thousand Islands. You know, how many of the guys from Akwesasne that aren't playing Can-Ams because maybe they can't make that commitment to the Can-Am. You know, it's a
There's
little less
there's
stressful.
there's one on the
You know,
NABLL's website already. He's got.
Yeah. There's gonna be it's gonna be interesting because you've got a couple new teams already. You got Nate's new team with the Thousand Island Spirits. You got the Paper City Oaks that just joined up, who've been doing like a youth program, but they decided to step it up to the senior B. So they did it kind of the opposite of how everybody else did. Whereas we started our senior program and went with the youth following that. So that'll be interesting. They're in
Keith,
Massachusetts.
where's the Paper City Oaks out of?
I want to say Massachusetts area. I want to
Okay,
say so,
I
which they're gonna be able to grab some of the Akwesasne boys too. So
yeah.
it's
they've
gonna kind of
already
be
yeah they've already got a roster up. Albany,
so.
they got a kid from Albany, so they can't be too far from there. I wouldn't imagine. They got a few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
I
they're gonna be
mean,
able to take a lot of guys, and I think that's gonna help that Northern Division with the Maine and Andrew Forster's team with and Cambridge. I think
That
that's gonna
I
make
mean
that.
that team up there, that Maine Northman team, how impressive was that? And then you find out that oh wait, all the teams up there are that good, and every one of these, yeah, the competition. How many guys they got? Like six guys playing for the Chowderheads. And I mean, I was
Yeah,
just clipping through highlights the other day, and oh my goodness, when you watch Duncan out there, is how he is not picked up by one of these teams. I don't I don't know. It
he's a hell of an athlete. I mean, I've been watching your clips and I watched it live. You know, I was one of the guys screaming in the background and going, "Holy sugar! What a save, Duncan!" You know, he was on fire at the Nationals. He was definitely on fire at the Laxney. You know, the
right.
problem with the Laxney team is they came down, they were light-handed.
they had just got done with
With
nationals. A bunch of their
just
college
got done
guys
with
went back.
Nationals.
It was
Yeah. So
it was a tough. Yeah, here's this Oaks' website. They're a yeah, they seem to have it together pretty well. But like you were talking, do it the opposite way. That's really what you need because I've talked to Paul about this before and everybody else is your youth program, and it takes you a good 5 to 10 years before you really are going to see like that level. You know, it takes you 5 years to really do anything before you start to grasp how it's supposed to be done completely. I mean, that's part of the
Yeah,
learning process.
right,
yeah.
right.
I mean, it's nice to see though the youth programs. I mean, Justin Otto. down towards the city. He's got a youth program that he's developed. And it's the same age group as ours. I mean, Kobe Johnson runs a youth program up there. You've got the 845 down in New York City. You got the Syracuse
Polar Bears.
Polar Bears. Yep.
Yeah, I've been seeing them all over. Yeah,
one of our Bank City guys, Justin Peterson, he lives out in North Carolina. Him and a handful of the Oak City Owls are part of the True program down there. They were just in Virginia Beach. They're going to Philadelphia this week. So the youth programs there's so many youth programs out there that you don't even realize it, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, no, that is huge. And yeah, but I got to blast out all the teams that have their rosters up there so far, because I mean, anybody who's this organized, that's impressive though. Like
they got it on. That's on the NABLL
yeah,
website.
but that Paper City team, that Paper City Oaks, that just blows my mind. Like they have everything together. Like you said, they seem like they got it going on pretty well. So they must play together quite a bit. How old are
I'm sure they probably had somebody that was within some other organization that is I'm taking a stab in the dark, but watched from the trial and errors of other GMs and said, you know what, this is going to take us a year to let's work into it and have all our I's and T's dotted and crossed, and it appears that that's exactly what they did. That's what made it good for myself with that pandemic. During the pandemic, we was going to get into the IBLA, and they weren't letting any more people in. There was just the two teams, the Hyenas and the Eels, and they froze it at that. So it gave me a full year of getting things put in place. The right venues. Finding some coaches, doing all the right things. Getting guys. We were tweaking around for at least a good year in Westmoreland with the small field. Getting these guys used to box lacrosse, and then we finally were able to make the step. So, hats off to the Paper City there. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's huge to see. It's
I'm really hoping the NABL is able to kind of collab with some of these other bigger leagues. So, like the Great Plains box, they're the BLL now, so the box.
Yeah.
Where the Great Plains, they got like the Chicago Portagers.
So I actually I talked to the guy the other day from the Portagers team. That's that's an interesting. Those guys, I'm telling you, they got it together. They're looking at making some big moves. I'm pretty sure they're associated with that new. Have you guys noticed that Box Lacrosse channel? Those guys are all over the place. They are. That is some go-getters right there.
Gotta be a beacher, man. You gotta go for it.
It's got to be full sun.
You're gonna get your name out there.
Yeah, we'll get it. I mean, and actually, I mean, one thing I will say is the PBLA, at least they're smart enough that they always like Lacrosse All Stars is writing about them. That's one thing you definitely need to get. And I will say that the NABLL, between all their teams, has more content out there right now than the PBLA does, just because of the amount of guys willing to stream their games. I mean, like look at all of your games are online. Baker's games are all online in the and there's several other teams like that. Like if you actually look at that Box Lacrosse channel, those guys, they've got an app for every major device now. Hulu, Roku, Amazon, Google, Apple, and they have all the games. As soon as they start getting a little a couple of tweaks here and there, just getting guys figured out with some sound over the top. And not everybody can have a Paul and Bob to commentate for us.
True.
That's a huge
entertain, we call it. Entertain.
Absolutely.
Facilitate.
Yes. Oh man. Well, boys, we have been on this for 45 minutes talking about the PBLA for about 2, so we should probably say goodnight, but hang on before we do, everybody. I'd like to take a break, and we have to thank our sponsors for a minute.
I gotcha. Here we go, brother.
Yep.
Bag Square Brewing Company, downtown Utica, an authentic German cuisine with authentic German brew. Stop down to Bag Square, ask for a cross-check. You won't be disappointed. The Be Dry System, water in your basement, Contact Be Dry. You'll be happy. You'll be dry. Believe in 271. Nobody fights alone. CBI cables. What the pros use. CBI cables. Plug them in. Deming Lakeside Trailer Park. Eric Kiefer, LUTCF, friend of the Yeti. Eric Kiefer. Family Landscaping. Contact Russ down at Family Landscaping. Spring is near. Fay Farms. Where's the beef? Asked Jimmy at Fay Farms. George Keller, Sales and Service, GKS. They have all your tree cutting supplies. They have all your chainsaw supplies. Contact Jeff down at George Keller, Sales and Service. The NABLL. Nora's Candy Shop, home of the world famous turkey joint. You got a sweet tooth? Get to Nora's. Contact Nora's. Get them turkey joints. Tri-City Lacrosse. 40 years of lacrosse in the Utica, Rome, and surrounding area. 40 years. Tri-City Lacrosse. Look them up. Tag Ray Tools. Contact Jimmy Fay for Tag Ray info. Rome Sign and Display Company. Contact Terry down at Rome Sign for your banners, for your billboards. Rome Sign. Bobby Dix Insurance Company. Robert A. Dix Jr. Inc. Insurance. Contact Bobby if you need insurance. He'll get you covered. Nice Scuba. The women and men in blue. The Utica Yeti. We thank you. Clinton Tractor and Implement Company. Contact the Caledona family if you have something you need for the farm, for the yard. Contact Clinton Tractor. Crafty Beach Designs. Crafty Beach for your personalized memorabilia, for your personalized merchandise. CNC wood engraver. You want something stamped? Contact the Crafty Beach. MEM Photography, Mark Murphy. He gets the shots. You need the shots? Contact Mark. He'll get you that shot. 4x Hill, 4x Hill, 4x Hill, 4x Hill Lacrosse, 4x Hill Lacrosse, Ty Hill. The Black River Ale House. When you're in Rome, do what the Romans do. They go to the Black River Ale House. I got you. Here we go, brother.
Yeah, and we're back. Oh, we don't need the timer this time. We're already back. So, anyways, we were in the break and you were talking about you're trying to put together rosters for Boston and for.
Yeah. We got 2 Forge events. Forge is a program that runs mostly field tournaments, but they've really been starting to divulge into the box. So they've actually run some. They kind of partnered with Delaware, and now they started the Beantown tournament in Boston. So that's going to be April 29th and 30th. I want to say the dates are for that. It's just like 20 minutes south of Boston. So it's always a good time up there in Boston.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite places, and just everything out there usually sports oriented. That's honestly, it's one of my favorite big cities to go to. I'm not a big fan of going to cities at all, but Boston is seems tolerable for me.
I've only been a couple times. I got family up there, so that's a positive part of that. So,
But all right, so anybody who needs to reach out to Bang City, the best way to get a hold of Bang City is
my Instagram. So it's bang_city_LC.
perfect. You can definitely find it through the Yeti. Kiefer is always posting all kinds of stuff on there. And the next open floor night will be next Tuesday.
Tuesday night. Next Tuesday night. Yes.
Anybody?
8 p.m. Got to have U.S. lacrosse insurance, so make sure you get U.S. lacrosse insurance. Bring $10 and it's all Tri-City.
10
40
bucks and
years
a
of
good
lacrosse.
attitude.
Yeah,
That's it. $10 and a good attitude. Good call.
That's crucial.
Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
Kiefer, thank you so much for joining us this
yeah.
week.
Thanks very much, Nick. You know, a
Anytime.
lot of big things going on, man. Get yourselves ready out there, Utica Yeti. Keith, because you know it better than me. How do we get people to take a look on the sign up for the Utica Yeti?
So on the Utica Yeti, if you head to their Instagram, there's gonna in their bio, there's their link tree. It's gonna have a player interest form. So anybody that's interested, you fill that out. Kind of similar to Bank City, we both have player interest forms. The Facebook will have a post soon that'll have a link that allows them to access that. If it's not on the link tree for the Instagram right now, I know
Beecher's
Beecher's
got it. He's posting it up right there. Beecher, you're the man. I apologize to everybody. I'm
I don't know if I see it on there.
computer.
If not, I will have it on there within the next 10 minutes or so. So anybody that's interested, the player interest form will definitely be in the Utica Yeti link tree.
Very soon.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it was there. I'm just trying to think. I
There's
may
a
have gone on
live
there
stream
and clicked
homepage,
something.
apparel, bag square, TikTok, Tri City, the Box Lacrosse League. The player interest form will be up there soon. And you can always just reach out to either of you guys through, Instagram.
Social media is
Instagram.
the
So
easiest way to get
yeah,
a hold of somebody in part of the program.
All right, Paul,
absolutely.
any final words before we say goodbye?
Yeah, as far as I do have to say this, not to bring it on a down note. It's a great note because I have to say a shout out to my boss. As far as my boss just passed away last Friday. For to say a boss when a boss is a friend, Doug Brzezinski. Much love. Uh, tell the people you love that you love them because good people don't last. Amen. Amen. Yeti Nation, I thank you. Greg Beecher, I thank you. Kiefer, I thank you for everything that you do.
Anytime.